Gabby, and I've been getting a lot of questions about people asking me to make instructional tumbling videos, and I just wanted to make sure I was with the right person who had perfect technique, and I'm with John Cronin, and he has the most impeccable technique you will ever see. So that's why I'm with him today, and we're gonna make the tumbling video for you guys.
Of course. Hey, well, my name is John Cronin, like she said, and we've been working with some of the greatest kids around cheerleading, Sean Laura, Cameron Bonton, Kiara Nolan, all those great kids. We're going to work on good form today and really make sure that what you're looking for is truth and right. So, there's only one way to do it the right way, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
There you go.
Alright guys, so right now, me and John are basically going to go over the fundamentals of skills, like your handstand blocks, your roundoffs, all that stuff, building up to your upper level skills.
Yeah, we're going to make sure that the roundoff is done correctly, and before we do roundoff, we're going to make sure you have a handstand block. A block to handstand is very important because
extremely important.
Your roundoff is going to set you up for a lot of great skills down the road, but right now, roundoff by handspring, it'll be the next skill after level 1. First, we're going to start with a block to L stand where your feet are apart. Alright, so I'm going to demonstrate it and I'll show you what it looks like. You want to make sure that you're long, your arms are by your ears, and you want to make sure you travel with your block. Come back down, arms by ears. Okay, really important. Okay. Alright, so Gabby, I want you to start with your hands up real tall. Let's make sure your arms lock out. Okay, and what we explain is making sure we stay hollow, and we use our lunge to lean forward, and we use our lean forward to create a straight body. That's alright. We're going to use the straight body line to go into the block, okay? Your shoulders being up, put your arms up. You want to push my hands up. Push, push, push. This is what we're looking for when we hit the ground. Block, block, block. Alright? So, go ahead. I'll be here just in case. And back up. To do this move properly, you guys have to make sure that you do a lot of handstands. It's very important you know how to support yourself upside down. Being upside down is like being on your feet all day. Once you know how to be on your feet all day, it's kind of just a normal habit. Yeah. So being on your hands all day is kind of making you have another second nature, third nature. To get the skill, you gotta have a lot of handstands. Next, you gotta make sure that you can get to the L stand before you go all the way completely to handstand, just so you can control yourself. Hey guys, we're just about to example the cartwheel. We're going to give this example, and we're going to show the positives and negatives of it, and then we're going to show what we can do with what we just explained.
Right.
Yeah, so we have these lines here. The first line is for her start, okay? You're always starting with your point to toe towards where you're going. Alright, I kind of explain it like in basketball, because sometimes in basketball they teach you to free throw with your elbow, your knee, and your toe. All lined up for it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Your elbow, your knee, and your toe should all be lined up to where you're going.
Now, doesn't matter if I start like this or like this.
Well, you really do want to start in a lunge. You want to make sure you're pushing off your front knee, not your back knee first. You want to make sure you push off your front knee and then kicking with your back toe. Alright? And your shoulders tall. Alright, so the first line is for that. Then you're going to make sure from this hand, you want to reach out as far in front of this white line as you possibly can. Doesn't mean you're going to make it, but you want to try your best to get there. And then after that, you're going to make sure your first leg that kicks over is on this white line. So that would mean your back leg is the first leg down at the end of the cartwheel. Okay? So arms are tight. Let me see, lock out arms. And open hands, right? We just learned that one, huh?
Yeah, literally just learned that.
Okay, come on. Big open hands. Push.
Okay, that was a little rough.
Now, the only thing I would say is there's two things that we have to work on. Is hand placements. I think that millions of people will say, oh, let's park it in the garage, just make sure. You know what? It's very simple. I want you to make sure that your hands are this big and wide, showing the thumbs inside of your picture frame, but with wide fingers.
Okay,
you know?
see, I go like this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, open fingers. You want to make sure big fingers. So let's go that again. Let's do that in the same cartwheel. And show me the arms are up. Now, the hardest part of a cartwheel is keeping your head with your arms as you go down. So it is something that is going to be worked on. It's not going to happen right away, but if you just compete with yourself and make sure you always do it, it'll be nice. Come in, follow, block. Good. Using your whole hand allows you to have the fullest potential of a block.
I actually felt more balanced that time too.
Long and square up. Good. Now, one thing I did see, it's hard to flex through a skill. If you flex your foot through the skill, then it makes it hard to put down your foot.
Flexing.
Yes. So
that's my problem. That's a bad habit.
Even though you leave the ground with the toe point, you're trying to flex your foot to get down.
Yeah.
And you really want to show that toe point all the way down. So if I'm right here on the line and I'm reaching, I want to make sure
everything's like pointed.
And now I'm stood up, I've got this locked out position, and I'm already starting to set myself up for a good round.
Okay.
Good, that was good. That was much better.
That was better.
Yeah.
Just a toe point will help.
But it's important. Toe pointing is really the finesse and skills. I think that when you look at a beautiful tumbler, you look at their perfection and how much time they put into putting that skill looking right. It's easy to throw street tumbling, isn't it? It's really easy to get going around and just get your twist around.
Exactly. It's easy to throw a skill, but to do it with technique and every little thing is much harder. Yeah. But it will help you later on. Alright guys, so just to show you like what a couple little things can do, like John told me when you do your cartwheel, I was doing this with my hands and then he told me to open my fingers because it gives you more stability. It automatically just helped right away. I could feel the improvement like right there. So just that and like a toe point really helped.
Made it a lot easier.
Yeah, and it's the little things like that. Like, see, I don't even know some of these things, and I'm a level 5 athlete. It will help a lot. So.
Yeah. So now we're gonna move on to roundoff by handspring. Knowing that after you do your cartwheel and you get it perfected and you start doing roundoffs, we're gonna move a little bit ahead and just move on to level 2 stuff. A roundoff by handspring is very important, right?
Yes, roundoff by handsprings are probably not one of the most important, but I would definitely say it's really important. There you have it, folks. That is the definition of a perfect roundoff back handspring.
And off. Oh, that's not bad. At the end of your back handspring, make sure you finish your front rebound. Make sure you finish.
The finish is important too.
Finishing is important. Everyone can start, but if you don't finish that start, then it doesn't really matter anyway. So make sure you finish. But no, that was really good. What I'm talking about is when you're coming out of the roundoff and you're snapping down to go to the back handspring. That's usually where a lot of bent legs happen. If you have bent legs under, you're gonna have bent arms or bent shoulders or flat hands or flat shoulders.
And it's gonna make it way harder, trust me.
Not bad. So we really want to make sure that you're making everything squared up. Okay, the hardest thing about this pass is to make sure that you're looking for the right things. It's nice to see that she came out with a good rebound, and she had a pretty good back handspring that was really nice and long. But what I'm looking at is the beginning. When I see her round off and she steps out with her heel out and her knees turned out, and then now I've got her going around the side and around off, turning. And I don't know if she's gonna get her feet together fast enough for that back handspring. So what we have to make sure is that we get that lane. So the reach. Show that stretch after every handspring. It's important.
Okay.
Hands off. Chest. Yeah. Right to the left. Lift. I like that one. Pretty good. Still got a little twist in the hands. It's okay. Okay, that was good. That was so what we want to make sure is anytime you're going into a round by handspring, you're trying to make sure, first of all, your lane. Try to be really stretched out. Second of all, you're trying to work on feet together. And you're trying to make sure that at first maybe you do bend your knees to get in the handsprings, but gradually as you get better at it, you want to make sure those knees slowly go away. You want to have straight legs. You want to flex your quad to every punch that you give. All right? We work on round-off rebounds all the time when we're doing warm-up drills. Well, where's that round-off rebound when you do it into a round by handspring? That's what I tell my kids all the time. Use your punch to get in the handspring. It's so important for higher level skills. If you're teaching your kid now to use their legs for their punch straight, when they get to a level 5 whip, or whip full, or whip double, it'll already be there. The kids are training these skills for the future. If we're training these skills for now, then when we get to the higher level skills, they're lost. So we gotta make sure that our lower level skills are helping us for the future. Yeah, this is very important. What we're doing is we're looking for the greatest height you can get from your snap down, from either a round-off or a round-back handspring. We're going to demonstrate it from a round-back handspring, but you can do it from a round-off, and you can actually do it from standing tumbling. Maybe not as high, but you can do this drill for all aspects of running tumbling or standing tumbling. All right, and what we're looking for is how it all connects. What we got here is this mat right here that we have 4 8-inches on top of each other, and then we have a cheese that's on top of that, and then on top of that, if you have it, just for comfort, we put a sting mat. Come on, kiddo, you got it. On. Good.
Whoa.
Not bad. Very nice.
That landing though.
Isn't it soft?
It is really soft, yeah. Make sure when you land on stuff like this, it's soft.
Yeah, okay. Now, when you're doing this rebound, you're really trying to work on how high it goes before she puts her butt down on this cheese. If she gets on it the correct way, she'll do a candlestick to the top. If she gets to the candlestick, go ahead and it'll naturally, with all the power coming out of the punch, naturally roll over, which is the simulation of a round back handspring tuck. Relax, nice and slow. Now, if you can't roll over, that means your snap down was piked instead of stretched. Yes, that was it. You see the candlestick that comes out of that? So look, I'll show you. I'll do it right now.
Okay, yeah, you do.
You see what I'm saying? You stand up, right? Yeah. I stretched out my hamstring. I made it very, very long. I made sure that my position was more important than falling backwards onto the mat. Alright, so what we're doing now is, or what we just did, was we rebound to the candlestick back tuck position. So for a level 3, that's a round back handspring tuck. That's what you're working on, and working on making sure that looks perfected before you move on. Right. But we are going to move on because this is also a level 4 drill that you can use for layouts. If you come out of the round back handspring and you land in the candlestick, I want you to completely stay in the candlestick position, and hopefully the power from your round back handspring's rebound will throw you past that candlestick and into a push-up position. Keeping feet together the whole time, keeping your chin down as you roll backwards, and Gabi's going to try her best to do her candlestick to push-up. Now, this is just for right now. We're just showing you what she's going to do after a round back handspring rebound. She has a round back handspring doing, so the power isn't there. What you're going to do?
Am I supposed to be at the edge?
Yeah, you're going to be arms up. Alright, so arms are up and straight, and she's going to make sure her toe point goes so strong to the ceiling, it shows a beautiful candlestick. She's going to stop at the candlestick. So what we're looking for as a coach, what you're looking for, and as an athlete, is to make sure that your straightest body is to the ceiling. Alright, with arms tight by ears. Alright, so go ahead and lean back, and show candlestick straight left. Boom. Good. Very nice. So coming out of that round back handspring, that rock and roll that she just did is going to go all the way past. Alright, as she goes through, she's going to keep her arms just a little bent because you are going to push up, just helping out with the body position. The arms we'll talk about later. Right now, we're just making sure the arms start off by the ears, and as you roll past the candlestick, you're going to have to bend your arms to go to push up. Alright, so arms go up, she goes backwards, legs go straight, push to push up. Wah. Push up, chin down. Good. This is what we're looking for. Chin looking at toes. If you can see your toes, you're saying hello to your toes, meaning hollow. Hollow, get it? So you're making sure your eyeballs are always on your toes.
Oh my God.
Your hollow body is in, and you're making sure shoulders stay by ears. Now, we did say we bent our arms, but look how she is right now. She has straight arms. The bend arm is just to get the legs over and your chest up.
Alright guys, so we just got done drilling level 3 and 4 running tumbling, like drills for level 3 and 4. Now we're going to do beacon or advanced level 3, beginner level 4 standing tucks. So it's in between 3 and 4. Like if you're a 3, it's like an advancing for 3, and then if you're a 4, it's something that you have to have in 4. So we're going to do that to drill standing tucks.
Now we're going to work on the jump. We're going to work on making sure we are doing the proper swing into a start of a standing tuck. We're going to start in a sit, and we're going to stand up, okay? Keeping those knees in front of us as we jump. Tough. Good. Really easy. This is exactly what a coach would do and teach if they didn't want to get all inside of it. I know that some coaches just don't want to get hit and don't want to get punched. I like getting punched. I feel like it's funny.
He likes it.
I tell my kids, if you hit me, that's not your fault. It's my fault. I'm the professional. All right, so let's do some standing tucks. Let's go on tumble track. Now, here's a good tumbler's tip. A tumbler's tip is when your tumbler, an athlete, is on the tumble track, it'll show whether they're pressing through their heels or their toes. Because the tumble track is going to bend to where their weight is. If you put more of your weight on front of your toes, you'll see it on the tumble track. So she's showing me the nice little shine of her toe push. Okay, so that's what I look for before they even start. Oh, wow. Good. Now, I want to explain why you hear a in the middle of a standing tuck. That clasp is supposed to be helping you grab. A lot of times when I teach, I hear a lot of times that they just slapping yourself. Why are you slapping yourself? I always thought, why are you slapping yourself? You don't need to slap yourself. If you need to get your knees in and you need to grab your knees, I want to hear your grab and I want to see you pulling it in. Okay? Now there's two ways of grabbing. You can grab under your knee, which is called like the knee pocket, like right here. Okay? Or you can grab on top of the shin. For me, as a tumbler, as an ex-gymnast and a cheerleader and an ex-tumbler cheerleader, I don't like grabbing under the knee because I feel like when I'm here, I have control of my hand and my knee not coming out. So I like having my hands on top. But that's me. I know that there are other kids who like being here because it helps them bring their knees in. Okay guys, so we just got done with standing tucks, and what we were trying to do is to teach a proper way to build up a standing tuck for a standing full eventually. What we talked about in standing tucks was over rotation, being on toes, making sure we know where our hands have to go before we tuck, and conditioning. It was really important that we did all those steps before we actually threw the standing tuck. Our next thing, we're going to move on. We're going to move on to something a little bit higher level. We're going to go into a level 5 skill. It isn't a full or double or anything like that, but what we are going to work on is a whip. A whip is something that is now used all over cheerleading. I think it's something that everyone is trying to qualify for a level 5 team.
Yeah.
I feel like a few, maybe even 7 years ago, having a double was pretty basic, and you had to have it on the team. Having a double in 2015 is kind of like, so what? You know, it's very normal. Everyone should have a double. In our world of level 5s, now at the highest level, at the regular, competitive level, you should be throwing, if you're last pass, you should be throwing some kind of a whip into something. What we're going to do is just do the 2-whip rebound. What we are looking for is the straightest legs to the rebound. When we come out of the back handspring, we're trying to show shoulders to ears as fast as possible. Lengthening the whip is important. A lot of times people will go high to make sure they get a good stomp down. If you go too high, you're going to go rotate. If you go too low, you're going to crack your ankles. So we have to find the medium or the middle of every whip. All right, so a whip is like the highest level of standing back handspring. All right, so let's just show a 2-whip rebound. Nice. Okay, so what we have to fix is making sure when you step back, don't drop your shoulders with your swing. Use your shoulders as a lift in your first handspring. We want to calm down for the first handspring so we can attack the second one. If you go so fast in the first one, you're setting yourself up for a pike down from your handspring. So stretch out your first handspring. Step 2, when you get to your whip, make sure you stay traveling your whip. Don't think you're going to hit the mat. As a matter of fact, I'd like you to try to hit the mat. All right, if we hit it, that's fine. You're just going to whip rebound anyway. So, and at the end of your punch, do not flatten out your foot. Push your whip, snap. Oh, that's not so bad. I like that one. That's back to your normal whip. All right, so you know in your regularness that you have that slight arch when you do your back handspring. Every time you come out of handspring, you push out your hips and you're going to do a bent leg.
It's a struggle.
It's a struggle, but what you want to work on when you're doing whips like that, if you do have a problem with having hips out, just make sure that you're working on squeezing through your quad. When you squeeze through your quad, you have to use your tummy muscles and your leg muscles to keep straight. There you go. I feel like that was like the strength and block that we're looking for from every back handspring. Okay, if you notice after my rebound, I traveled all the way through, kept my hands with my head, and I actually landed on top, and I just kind of walked right off at the end. That's the type of punch that you're looking for, because when you're doing whipping, if you're doing a whip double, you're not working on your double. You're working on your punch. Because out of a back handspring, if you feel comfortable, you're going to double. If you come out of a whip and you find that good punch, that sweet spot punch is what's going to make you feel comfortable for a tuck lay full or double. Push it away. That's it. I like those handsprings.
I thought
That was so good. Yeah.
It's 'cause my
Sometimes
voice
here,
is
prime example.
bad.
Sometimes when something's different and you do it differently, it's gonna come out weird. Usually when you do something right, it's scary because when you do something right, that's a lot of power. Okay? If it's weird in the good way, if it's weird, then it might be a good thing to go ahead and go with that weirdness because everything we do in tumbling is kind of weird anyway. Lock collar, snap. Cool. Very nice. All right, here's something we have to talk about. Sometimes when you get to the set, you'll go to your set and then you'll flatten out to start your skill. Understand, flattening out is bringing you down. Shoulder lift through your skill is keeping you at that height in your tuck. Not in the whip, but when you come out of the whip, going into your tuck, continue with your shoulders. When you do a whip tuck, you're working on the set first. You eventually want to get into other skills, but when you're just doing whip tucks, you're working on how high your hands can take you. All right, so that's the drill that you're working on, is that set out of your whip. Okay guys, so we just got done with the 2 to whip tuck drill and 2 to whip rebound drill. What we really explained and try to really show was the stretching in a skill. Whipping can't be high, it can't be low, it needs to be stretched out and nice and long. All right, we also explained that the snap down of every skill is going to give you that length. So what you're working on from your back handsprings is the snap down that takes you away and the block that takes you up. Okay, so you stretch and you snap, you stretch and you snap. Every time you come out of a skill, arms are always staying by ears. It's very important. All right, and remember, when you're doing whipping, if you're whipping because you're whipping for your whip double, don't train the double. Work on the whip punch. Work on the whip lay, the whip tuck. Do a minute of those before you start twisting. Of course, you're gonna have to start twisting at one point, but when you first start off, tucks and lays for days.
All right, guys, so I had so much fun with John today. Thank you, John, for
welcome.
everything. I mean, honestly, guys, trust me, you want to take in what he's saying because he knows so much, and it needs to sink in. I mean, I'm taking every little note he tells me and just applying it. So make sure to subscribe, and if you want to see more videos, just hit that button.
And we'll be there.
Bye.
Bye.